Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated. At the end of the last episode, I said we were going to start this one with a royal court. But we're going to take a quick look around the kingdom first of all, just to see a few things. First of all, our vassal, Brassel Conon, has had a son, Roberthook, an heir, a continuation of the O'Rourke dynasty. We have a bit of a problem, however. He's a sickly baby. He's got a grumbly tumbly. I think it is Triple B up in Breffni also had a sickly child. And the child passed away. So the succession here isn't secure as yet. But we could see a continuation of the O'Rourke name because very few of Keir's family have had children. I don't think any of them have had children, actually. So this is the first grandson of Leinshuk. She's picked up that flagellant trait from her father. Oh dear. And while we're down this end of the world, we'll take a look at the Duke of Powys. We're in a bit of trouble with this guy. He could be problematic. His wife, I didn't realise this, is the Duchess of Man. Her father was Magnus Le Loberson. Magnus attempted to seize Dublin, I think from our father, at one stage. And her mother has been deposed, from what I can see, and she has taken. Etna is the Duchess of Man. She is married to the Duke of Powys. And they have a son who is in line for the Duchy of Powys and the Duchy of Man, because his elder brother is a bastard. So the problem there is that if this child inherits Man first of all, they will take Powys out of the Kingdom of Wales. So it's creating a potential succession crisis. Or it's creating a potential crisis in terms of inheritance. It's highly likely. We're getting a bit of a debuff at the moment, I think, because we have too many duchies. It's the most likely thing that we can do, especially as we prepare for the conquest of this region. I'm afraid to say, the best thing that we can do is to seize the duchy. And there's a couple of reasons that we want to seize that duchy. One of them is the fact that the other region that's part of that duchy is Fairlix, and that is actually the property of the King of England, the new King of England. We can already see it here, his alliances. Halstein of Sweden. So the King of England has 6,000 men at his command, and we are talking about another 4,000 belonging to Sweden. So this is... We thought things were going well for us with the death of Turfrith and the death of the last King of England. However, we are now looking again at an alliance on par with that of England and the Holy Roman Empire. But if we allow Amlib to die, with Fairlix still part of England, that will give England justification for war against Wales. So yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that at some stage. And as if they weren't causing us enough problems, we recently saw Iceland produce an heir to replace Turfrith, so that we didn't see that amalgamation of England and Iceland. However, here is the Jarl Mother of Iceland. So here is the Jarl of Iceland. And here is his uncle, the King of England. And I think, yeah, he's back to good solid numbers. We're doing better, however. So if Iceland does come for us, we are going to be in a position to defend. But I had thought that all of those alliances, all of those structures that had been built against us had collapsed, but no. Ireland is in pretty much the same position it was in a decade and a half ago. The same fears that we had around our departure for the Crusade, they're pretty much still in play. And I was just about to start the royal court, but the last thing I remembered is there, standing beside our wife, rather awkwardly, is my son, my wife's stepson, Crusader, the heir to the kingdom. And as we saw in the last episode, he murdered our personal champion. And I'm still trying to think of what his motivations for that would be. However, look at him, standing in the court, watching his feeble-minded father being led around by the military council. We've seen 2 chunks of land given out in the last few episodes to high-ranking knights. We're going to see more land given out to high-ranking knights. Perhaps Crusader, wrathful individual that he is, has become angry at his father's loss of power and is angry at the men who are bossing him around. So maybe it's a kind of an internal power struggle between Crusader and the military council. So that would be one explanation as to why he murdered, oh, she looks so sad, why he murdered Una's husband. But we will hold our royal court. This is a worrying development. One of our guards approaches with the Archbishop in chains. I caught Wenzel here in the process of sending sensitive information to foreign spies in Scotland. Who could be in Scotland that he might be sending information to? Could it be Cailleach Fineen, who murdered our brother? Different plans put him in prison. He stops endorsing us. I forgive once, do not betray me again. We get a strong hook with him. Gain 32 dread, spend 25 piety. Wenzel is executed. The jester is delighted, applauding, leaping about on the blood. There is silence from the peanut gallery. Dovdeel, our physician, shows us a page filled with unfamiliar symbols, insisting on its legibility. It's a code, a special language for women in the court. We could gain a +1 diplomacy and learning for 20 years, or for 5 years, invented code, scheme secrecy +8%. I think with the way that Amlib's mind is going, and in preparation for the fact that we're going to be transitioning over to the intrigue lifestyle. He is 54 years of age, however, so I think 20 years worth of +1/+1 isn't going to be much good to him. So we're going to take this one. She's at 96 opinion, so it's not going to be much of an opinion loss. As soon as it is his turn to speak, the agitated man in front of me screams, "The end is nigh!" He wants us to purge Morgan of disorders, bandits, thieves, violence. Rather awkwardly, here is the Lord of Morgan, standing beside us. We could lose some stress and cleanse Morgan of all sinners. Gain 250 piety, so that would more than make up for the execution of our spy bishop. I don't know if we need to lose the 52 stress, though. We could just gain 100 piety, burn him, and get 32 dread. And again, I think that is what Amlib is going to order. No doubt, a much more somber court, as members of the military council, whispering into Amlib's ears, have gone down a very drastic route to secure power, threatened on all sides by a resurgent England, with its new alliances. Considering that many members of the council are now making their homes in Wales, I don't think they would be intent on decreasing the development there. I should have pointed out as well that Bressil Conon is raising Amlíb's two youngest sons, one of whom will inherit the Kingdom of Wales, so he's kind of put himself in a position to possibly, instead of remaining in Ireland and getting on the bad side of Cruhur, he's getting himself into Wales, where he might be able to again take over as a mentor to the future King of Wales. So lots of shenanigans going on in the court at the moment. My business here is done. Reinhold is an intelligent man. Reinhold knows that the best thing to do is to endorse his liege. The Duke of Powys also, unfortunately, knows the truth and knows the best course of action to take. He has surrendered the duchy to Amlíb. We're going to hold on to that for a while. The intention, however, is to eventually give out one of the duchies we have. We also have to do something up in Scotland. Scotland's just chaos. The once Queen of Scotland, Bridget, stops us in the hallway and tells us that she has helped our artificer, or somebody who is in our court, making a trap to try and catch Pangur Dubh. Couldn't resist a visit to her workshop. The artifact might be of a slightly lower quality. Oh. Thanks, Bridget. We're being told that Bevan, who we are raising, is being bullied by Nuno. Nuno. How could you? We could have actually done with burning Morgan to the ground and losing that stress. That is the one thing. Once you go into a royal court, you can't actually, I don't think you can, kind of quit out and check what your stress levels are. So, and there's no way of actually checking once you're in the court. So I didn't, we could have burnt it and got some stress back. We might hold a feast at some stage. I am saving up a bit of money. There's something that I want to do. I couldn't be bothered gaining stress to benefit her. We could go for Craven. She's going for the stewardship lifestyle. So Craven wouldn't affect stewardship. Lazy will affect everything. Going to have -1 diplomacy. Well, considering that there's too many windows lighting up when you click on one person, yeah, I can imagine. Just go away. Our mentor, Bressil Conon, arrives for another lesson. He's trying to teach us some military skills. We will tell him to prepare the ranks. It's a 54% chance of victory. We have failed. Perhaps there are a few more things you need to learn. You are absolutely correct, Bressil Conon. Show me again how it is you do. Surely while he was in the court of the Dál Fiatach, kings and queens of Croatia, this character decided that Ireland sounded like an interesting place, and he has joined our court. With his name, it's unlikely anyone in the Irish court would be able to pronounce it, so most likely we have begun to refer to him as Ishkamur, Big Water. And we have an opportunity to offer him the position of right hand. We'll gain 10 opinion with him, and I think it's 0.1 control growth for a month, which we badly need. Or with our current marshal, we can gain 20 opinion with him. I think we are going to make Ishkamur our right hand. And we're being told about the end of passion. This is passion that should have ended a long time ago. My petal, this just isn't working anymore. This hasn't been working for a very long time. I agree. So, we stop being lovers with our ex-wife, who we divorced a good few episodes ago. Bribed and blackmailed her lover and his big sword to come to our court, where we've married him out to keep an eye on him. It is time to go our separate ways. Well, this is a bit of a problem. We have failed in our most recent attempt to sway the Pope. We're making another attempt. He is still not willing to grant our brother a divorce. It was at -2 there for a while. It's now gone down to -15. We don't have grounds to execute her either. This is the Countess of Gwent. We have her in our prison. I actually forget why we have her in our prison. Probably because she's an adulterer. I can't remember why any of these people are in my prison. We're going to make one more attempt to sway him. If that succeeds, divorce, revoke the county. If it fails, I'll just ransom her out, and I don't know what we'll do. The Pope is usually good for a divorce. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's getting cranky in his old age. I've just gotten these two pop-ups at the same time. First of all, on the left is Talthu. Her relationship has just ended. Well, she was the lover of Broin, who at one stage we were considering marrying to our daughter, Ovluk, who passed away recently. So, we had a hook on her. I forced her to come to the court. If I am correct, she is indeed our ex-wife's sister. So, dragged her to court, have married her out to Mark Ward, 23 prowess, matrilineal marriage, so that was accepted. Prince Moilduin of Croatia has been slain during a battle. Maybe Ishgamur was right to leave that into the world. Let's go and check what's going on out there. From what I can understand, there has been a massive unification to create the Holy Roman Emperoratia. Oh wait, no, it's just covering up Croatia. I've no idea what's going on out here. That war for Bosnia is going very badly for Anya. But, Moilduin doesn't appear to have been, well, he may have been in a war that was brought to an end. He has a county that has passed on to his son, who is not involved in any wars. But while we're out here, something I forgot to mention, that I should have mentioned at the very start. Brittany has moved. I didn't think Brittany was here. I thought Brittany was somewhere else. I thought this child was making smart decisions. I take that back. First of all, here is our grandson, the King of Brittany, and through his grandmother, he inherited Bohemia. So she was the Queen of Bohemia for a while, and she abdicated. So we now have this unification. There is at least one attempt to take Bohemia off of him. There is 2 attempts to take Bohemia off of him. He's organised a marriage. Somebody is betrothed to him. I'm hoping when he comes of age that we might be able to organise an alliance. But he's betrothed. Let's see who he's betrothed to. A member of the Dál Fiatach? I didn't organise this. Sive. Oh. Nick Gilla Cullum. Which means that her mother is our wife. Which means that this is not Gilla Cullum's child. At least it's highly unlikely. We have near total evidence about a few of Anya's children, Onachon, Sinead, and Saive, are almost certainly Duke Borrell's illegitimate children, and Duke Borrell, of course, is... there is Anya, and there is Duke Borrell. The children's father-grandfather. So, yeah. I said there a couple of minutes ago, I'm hoping when the King of Brittany comes of age that we can negotiate an alliance with him. I hope we never see him again. We have a few people in our dungeons from our war in Tuscany. Matteo is good for nothing, so we will recruit him. Can't employ him as an executioner, because nobody will give us any money for him. Nobody will give us any money for this guy either. Such a pity. Oh well, we will have to just gain a weak hook and negotiate his release, and then use that weak hook to get money off of him. That's rather interesting that he won't ransom himself out. And while we're here in the prison, something I thought of after the last episode when I was talking about Cailleach Fineen and Brehon Law. If we manage to imprison Cailleach Fineen, under Brehon Law, if she'll give us money, we kind of have to take it. And she has a lot of money. It'd be interesting if there was maybe a Brehon Law hook, where the only thing you can do is use it to get more money from somebody. So I don't know if a weak hook and a strong hook give you different money income from ransoming prisoners, but you would expect that being imprisoned and ransoming yourself out, and being in prison for murder, especially murder of a high-ranking noble in the Kingdom of Ireland, that you should pay more. So I would like to see that, if there was an option to make people give you more money if they're in prison for a crime. Actually, yeah, there you go. A crime, I suppose you'd call it what, a Brehon Law crime hook? We're getting a bit confused now, aren't we? But if there was basically ways of getting different sums of money from people based on the crime that they had committed. I just want money. We are whacking away with our hammer. We attack, dodge, defend, and repeat. Maybe it would do me good to practice my skills with another weapon, an Irish weapon. Me and my trusty hammer will not part. We gain respected expert, +2 prowess. Not much use to us if we do indeed give up the hammer. I don't think we actually give up the hammer, we just practice with something else. There is a 70% chance that we get 100 lifestyle, and a 30% chance that we only get 50, and no other negative options whatsoever. Let's click on that one. The absolute divil. 125 gold he has, and he's going to give us a tenner. The divil. Thank you. I know he's into his mid-50s now, but dear God. Look at this for a sight for our carpenter to come upon in the hallway. She wants to go to the Great Hall to cut up my chairs. I know you do. I know that's what you want. So we could go to the Great Hall, and she's going to start cutting up stuff. Tell her that real inspiration comes from within, or what fun we shall have. She's going to gain stress, because she's temperate. There is also, however, a chance that she will become a drunkard. 10% chance that we get a slightly higher quality box. 10% chance that we gain 1 progress. 40% that nothing happens. So there's a 60% chance that something good will happen. Let's go get a drink. Do you know what? That's not the worst outcome. She is blind drunk, however, so that might affect the quality of the box. Nice. Our daughter Martha has been impressed by the knights. Diligent is what she will get. We're looking at absolutely nothing else. It will give her +3 stewardship. Might as well keep it. Our daughter Dunla came of age in the last episode, and I have organised a marriage between her and the eldest son of the Count of Cleves. It'll bring in 1,789 into our alliance. And it does look like they're going to be needed, because like I said, we are going to be looking towards a war with England quite shortly. The things I'm kind of waiting for before beginning that war are to see can we, but no, that's going to take way too long, 15 months, to get that divorce from the Pope, or to at least make him like us enough to give us a divorce. The other thing is to finish off the martial lifestyle and get the decreased mercenary cost in case they are needed. You absolute divils. Greetings, cousin. You have something that should legitimately belong to me. Relinquish it at once. If only we could accept and send him the sponge on a stick. He wants the Anglo-Saxon Court Politics book. Thousands have already died for this book, and if you want it, thousands more will have to die. We'll take a very quick look at the Godwin dynasty. Here is Harold Godwinson, his children. Then we have our grandfather, Godwin, who was executed by his nephew. And then his son, of course, is Turfrith, who we've had lots of problems with. If we come back then to our grandfather, here is our mother Gunhilda, who lost our cat, and we're trying to build a box to try and see if we can capture the cat. Here is her long-suffering children. And then there is our 3 uncles who kept calling our father into various liberty wars. In the end up, Wolf called us into a war in which Teithmar, our uncle, if I'm correct, or maybe our granduncle, killed one of our uncles, one of our mother's brothers, and Orthacoin killed another one of our uncles, and that was the father of the current King of England, who is angry that we didn't give him back a book. So it's kind of interesting to see how closely linked this family has been, or how closely linked, I should say, the Dál Fiatach and the Godwin dynasty has been over the last couple of generations, especially considering that the Godwins actually lost control of England for a period of time. But yeah, they're still causing trouble. The Divils are still causing trouble. I wish there was an option for us to go to war for one of the 12 copies of the Excalibur that the English court has. I think they have about 4 copies. Somebody has died, somebody of interest to us has died, and if I am correct, this is the man that killed our brother. Died of old age. It was too good for you. Damn you to hell. Our options are very simple. Soldiers of lesser fortune. We will unlock that. We will immediately come up to intrigue. And intrigue and natural dread. So more than likely we're going to start coming down the schemer tree. I'm not too sure what we're actually going to go for. It's predominantly to try and get some intrigue, added intrigue to help us with our schemes. Hostile scheme success, you can't say no to that. Murder scheme. Disrupt schemes, find secrets progress. So yeah, probably to start with down this way. But considering how long it took us to get anything from the military lifestyle tree, I imagine we're only going to get 1 or 2 here. Because, like I said, Uí Néill is shoving on, and his health isn't great with all that alcoholism. God almighty, look at that face. We do have a bit to go yet, but like I said, Uí Néill is shoving on in years, 55. His health is fine. But we do have to start thinking about the effectively the end of the game. We're coming up to 1166, 100 years from the start. 1169 will be the IRL anniversary of the Norman invasion of Ireland. And I did say I was going to play it through 5 generations. Crusader will be generation number 5. So I don't know if I'll go to the very end with Crusader, but I do want to see what his reign is going to look like. I do want to see what Ireland is going to look like in the aftermath of Uí Néill's disastrous but successful rule. And we could see, like I said, one of the most prestigeful and pious figures ever. So we do have a bit more to do. One of the things that we most certainly have to do is secure the borders of Wales. I would much rather if we were in a position to do this when England or Sweden was at war. But we are going to declare war to seize the earldom of Furlix, to secure our borders and hopefully to prevent any future attempts by England to retake the region. We have vastly more forces, but can we actually get them all together at the same time? Every single ally that will answer the call has been called in. There's Upper Burgundy. We're going to start getting a lot of pop-ups. One of our newest alliances in Cleves. Here in what's left of our alliances in... this is actually an interesting one. I forgot to discuss this one. So this ape is after leaving our court. Phelimid. Mock Ludmilla. He's our nephew. Oh, he's baiting himself as well. Giant. So here's his parents. There's Ludmilla, our sister, and we married her off to a giant Aelfnath, a giant knight, who's after wandering away off to Bohemia, which is now part of Brittany. So he's had an adventure and a half. And yeah, their son is after marrying Elspeth, the Countess of Region in Brittany. So she's our ally now with 900 soldiers. We won't say no to that. We'll call her in. There is our brother-in-law. Great to... Your sister... Yeah, your sister's fine. Yeah, it's great to see you again. Yeah. There's so many of them. Orleans just joined Tuscany. Returns the favour. And our brother-in-law, the poor man. If we were sensible, we would depose him from the one county that he holds, bring him to our court or try and imprison him, and then try and push his claims on all of the... Well, okay, maybe not that place, but all of these other places. We could, with this man's claims alone, we could take the majority of the Kingdom of Scotland. And there is Halstein. Our former... Oh god. What would he have been? He was our brother's father-in-law. We almost almost secured an alliance with him, and instead we are now fighting against him. We won't do anything too exciting. We'll keep all the troops nice and close together in case England sets out and hits us. We're going to try and wait for all of our allies to land. We are told that our daughter, Eugenia, has come of age. She is betrothed to Onwin. A problematic figure, if he wanted to be. It looks like she's gotten some very good stewardship skills, so if nothing else, this is going to knock him out of joining independence factions against us. There is his brother, who hates us. He's still in somebody's jail. Denmark. He's a prince of Denmark, who rules the Isles. Is there going to be... There's going to be problems there at some stage. Are you in line for Denmark? You're not. There's still going to be problems. They grow up so fast. And there is that marriage negotiated and carried out. I think our spymaster has just discovered that our spymaster murdered whoever that was. So our spymaster is looking for secrets in our court, and she's just discovered one about herself. Great job. 7,000 troops. We're going to have to move out of this region and basically try to get back to just this end of the world and see if our allies can come in before we deal with England's troops. We're being told that a cat box has been made. My lord, my beneficiary gestures me over to the object, covered in fabric, with a wide grin on her face. I have toiled many days and many nights, and finally, my work is done. Usually these things are completed when we are pressed to the gills in the middle of a war. A cat box of very fine craftsmanship. It is made of lavished, worked ivory. The body of the box and the lid have been painted with cats. Perfect to keep cats safe. Piety, court grandeur, lovely. And this is a bit of a surprise to get at this point in time. Oh! There is a presence in my bed, just as intensely physical as your body used to feel when you wrapped your limbs around me. Yet this presence is not you, Fiatach. No, it's Anya. Our wife, ex-wife. We could have been the Uí Néill and Maeve of a new generation. And instead, it was betrayal and I don't know what else. She has died. Fiatach has died from complications due to a failed treatment. And our son, Crusader, has now ascended to become the King of Connacht. I'm not going to give him Breffni yet, because he'll probably revoke it. So there you go. What timing. We've become overwhelmed by stress. We will tell her to leave the court. We've turned the army around and we're marching it north to try and meet our Scottish allies coming down. We've 1,500 troops coming in by sea. Absolutely. We will go on a drinking binge for 3 years to help us to forget about our wife. I hope it wasn't a failed treatment for lover's pox, because then I'd feel really bad. Our dream of hitting the English forces before their allies come in has failed. They've gotten their allies in. They've gotten overwhelming forces in from Sweden. We're just going to start sieging down some random place. Anya has been taken prisoner and released yet again. Another distant member of the family is dead. We have 3,500 troops coming in from Aquitaine. It's entirely possible that with those forces we will move south and engage the main body of the English army. More allies are coming in, and we're going to use this opportunity. I was hoping actually to try and hit the Swedish forces. I think maybe if we hit this main body here. What's after happening? Okay, they've decided. These guys know what they're doing. We'd better let them land first of all, so that they don't go off in several different directions. Scotland has fallen a good bit behind, or our Scottish allies have fallen a good bit behind. The Pope has still not been swayed. The English have managed to get 9,000 into the battle early. They're up to 11,000. Hesso has been slain. I don't think we're going to be able to swing this around. I don't know, is that our... It is indeed. Our son-in-law is dead. Our son, Crahur, show him in at once, wishes to meet us in the midst of this battle. He should know the vows fairly well. I accept this generous gift. It's probably money I gave you in the past. Who's commanding this army? Crahur, not now, I'm busy. A loss of interest. Bevin is harbouring a secret affection for Duke Alfonso. Is he related to you? Oh, it's down in Spain, or it's down in that part of the world. That's a bad part of the world. Godfried, I think that's the two sons of the Count of Cleves that have been killed in this battle. Because I was just about to bring my daughter back to court and see about marrying her out to the other brother. One should not dabble. Is it probably best for you to be chaste? She could become vengeful or stubborn. Do you know what? I think with the way things are, it's probably best for you to be chaste and to remain chaste. We have a slight advantage. They are pushing back against us, however. I think we're going to have to start to look at getting in some mercenaries. We do have a numerical advantage, but they're chipping away at us. It looks like they are indeed going to pull a victory from this, and we are going to need to hire some mercenaries. Ulster's Lament. We need those resources for the troops. If one small village in Ulster has to starve, the heated argument between my councillors allows me out of the room, and Duke Orthacoin, the representative, or it follows me out of the room, and Orthacoin, the representative from Ulster, greets me with tired eyes as I approach. This decree will force them to leave you alone. What is one village in the grand scheme of things? So encouraged improvements, dev growth, or increased levies. I am afraid that we need those levies. What else do we get? 150 prestige. Yeah. Levies it is. Especially if we are looking at those forces from Cleves potentially leaving. Laura was wounded. So it does indeed look at the very end as though we're going to lose this battle, with 180 men left on the field to hunt us down. Brassel Conan, now is probably not the time to prepare the ranks. It definitely isn't. Show me again how it is you do. And it is a defeat. A hefty defeat, to say the very least. Our forces, shattered, begin to split off in various different directions. I don't know what the hell we are left with after that. We have seen the positions Master of the Hunt and High Alamoner vacated of recently. I'm going to leave High Alamoner vacant. Master of the Hunt, I am going to appoint Triple B, Quadruple B, Birger, Birsason, Bille of Breffni. That was not done intentionally. So we will appoint him as Master of the Hunt. If we had just another 900 men at our disposal, the work that they would have been able to do. The Cumbrian band has served us well in the past. We will hire them again. what absolutely staggering numbers these are. 15,500 men deployed on the Irish side. We went in a bit piecemeal. Even if our brother-in-law had been able to get his forces in a couple of days earlier, maybe it could have turned the battle. It went on a knife edge. England holding the battlefield by 180 men. And Brasil Conan, if he had just enough energy and strength in him, he could have probably killed those 180 on his own. Look at these for numbers. 171 men killed by Moel Brasil Conan's retinue. Here is our Marshal coming in with 93. The commander of the English and Swedish forces has been wounded. Mark Ward, who we married to our wife's sister at the start of this episode, he's gotten himself wounded. There's Ishkamur William, who I think is also actually married to a member of our family, is after getting himself imprisoned. Laura is wounded. Ulgarg got one of the few kills against English knights. Laura, great job. There's Cóftuch. There is Quadruple B, Niels, who I just recruited to court before this battle started, so it is literally his first day on the job. Moel Mura, how are you keeping? You don't look happy. I hear you have a GF. Yeah. Witch Doctor. Yeah, Kyluk Fineen. There's Phelimid. He's finally put on a hat and done some work for the kingdom. Our nephew, but he's not even fighting with us. There's our new son-in-law, and he is wounded. Eduardo, who I believe, well, he's definitely out in the Duchy of Tuscany. I think we saw his name pop up in our war out in Tuscany. And then we're seeing some of our allies. There is the youngest son of the the Count of Cleves. And where's his brother? There's his brother Hesso, our son-in-law. So the two of them killed in the battle. That's creating anarchy in Cleves. And who else was killed? A courtier from Tuscany. A count, a courtier, a count. So two heirs to the Count of Cleves. The Count of Siena, dead. Lads, what were you at? Did you do anything? And then if we look at the numbers on the English side, I think they only lost 2 knights. They lost 2 to our 3. I won't say we have much bigger numbers. I think at the lower end, their knights were probably more skilled than ours. But Eduardo getting 1 kill against a Swedish count. And Ulgarg scoring another kill for himself. So close to a victory. That would have been the greatest victory in the history of the kingdom. But it is a defeat. Minus 10% war score. Bunla, the poor thing, has been summoned back to court, married out to the future Duke of Thuringia, and hopefully we will be able to call in another 1,600 soldiers at some point in time, with this defeat hanging over us, and as we wait for our new mercenaries to be raised and sent across. We have the finances, we have the allies, we can bring this war to an end successfully if only we can get them all together. The big problems are, how long is this war going to take? Amlib is not a young man. And how many losses are we going to suffer? Because of course we do have a lot of very, very angry vassals. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope that you will have your armor polished and ready to go for the next one, because I need every soldier that I can get.